Hola clase, hoy es lunes, el 20 de abril. I hope everybody is doing well and everyone is healthy or trying their best to stay healthy. I miss seeing you all, and I really hope that we can come back together soon because it's weird not seeing everybody every day. So, for the most part, everybody did well with your quiz last Thursday on the regular preterite verbs, the Kargar-Zar preterite verbs, the stem changing preterite verbs, and some of the irregular preterite verbs. Again, this PowerPoint, the filled in notes, everything is accessible to you on Canvas. And just to review with some of you, in case you may not know, you always want to make sure you go to modules. Right now, we're currently working in module 9, so everything that you need is in here. So for example, if you want to open up the filled in class notes, what we're going to start working on today is Doc 9.6, which is the last part of the notes. When you guys get here and you see this gray screen, please make sure you're clicking the top link. That is what's going to allow you to open up the document. You will need to make your own copy, but you can access everything that way. So don't forget that just because you see that gray screen, it doesn't mean that the information is not accessible to you. And something else that I want to make mention of, as a class, you need to make sure that you are adding your accents. With the preterite, the accents are super important to the grammar. So on your quiz, I went back in and if you put the accent on the wrong letter, I gave you back partial credit. If you forgot the accent, I gave you partial credit. Some of you put the accents in the wrong direction, but you put it on the right letter, and I gave you full credit. You will have a test on the preterite, and I'm not going to go in there and be giving you credit. It's up to you to add your accents correctly and on the right letters. So if you need help with the accents, please take time to message me through Canvas, and I'll be happy to sit on a Zoom with you, and we can go through those accents. Okay, so going back to the preterite now. Again, you have your preterite regular endings, e hasta o, amos hasta is, and aron. And your er and ir endings are the same, iste, io, imos, istais, and yeron. And if you notice, we have accents on the e and the I for the o form and the o's in the la usted form. The next part, you had some irregular verbs like ir, to go, and ser, to be, but the conjugations were the same. Fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fuistais, and fueron. The verb hacer, to make or to do, hice, hiciste, hizo, with that irregular spell change, hicimos, hicisteis, hicieron. Dar, to give, diste, dio, dimos, disteis, dieron. Ver, viste, vio, vimos, visteis, and vieron. Notice that these irregulars have no accents. So these are different than the regular, the Kargar-Zar verbs, and the stem changing verbs. Okay, the rules about Kargar-Zar, the change only happens in the yo form. So we know that car, car goes to QUE, yo sake. Gar goes to GUE, yo pague. And empezar, the ZAR, goes to CE, yo empecé. This is only in the yo form because when we check back to our AR endings, that's the only time that the verb ends in an E. So that's why the rule only applies in the yo form. In addition to the Kargar-Zar, we also went over the stem changers, which we called sandal verbs or slipper verbs, because the change happens in the la usted and the eos and ustedes. So you have e to I. You could have an o to u, like dormir. There's also this y group, like leer. Okay? And if you're confused with this, please jump into the optional extra help Zoom or message me to schedule a time that we can go over this. If you're confused with this information now, I would like us to work together to clarify any problems or questions that you have, because it's only going to get a little bit more complicated. Okay, so this is the new piece of information. So the irregular preterite verbs. So like the verb hacer, the following verbs have irregular endings in the preterite. We use these verbs to describe completed past actions. So again, the preterite tells us that an action happened in the past and it's a completed past action. We know exactly when it happened. Yesterday, I woke up at 9:30. Last summer, I went to Montauk for the weekend. 2 years ago, I visited my grandparents in California. We know exactly when something happened and it's over. It's a completed action. When we were learning about the imperfect, that was describing how things were in the past, what we used to like to do in the past, maybe something that you always did in the past. They're both past actions, but the preterite is telling you this occurred at a certain time and it's over. So if we take a look at the irregular preterites, so if you just saw on that following slide, we went over ir, ser, ver, dar, and hacer already. And we have some more. So, sorry for the mistake here. So we have andar, to walk, which goes to anduv. Estar, the verb to be, which goes to estuv. Poder, which means to can or to be able to, goes to pud. Poner, to put or to place, pus. Querer, to want, and the stem is quis. Saber, to know, and we know saber is to know facts or information. In the preterite, this is to have found something out. Sup, tener, to have. Tuv, venir, to come to. Being. And caber, to fit, and, coop. So just like hacer went to hic, is, ise, hiciste, iso, all of these verbs here have a different stem change, but they all have the same ending. So it's important to remember whether it's an AR verb, an ER verb, or an IR verb, they all have the same endings. And this is, again, something different that you have to memorize. So the irregular preterite endings are iste, o, imos, istais, hieron. And you should know this from hacer. Ise, hiciste, hizo, hicimos, histais, hicieron. And again, there's no accents on these super irregular verbs. We got nothing. I walked to the school. Yo anduve a la escuela. Now we know we could say yo caminé, but if we want to utilize one of these irregular verbs, yo anduve a la escuela. She had the homework yesterday, so we want to use tener. Ella tuvo la tarea ayer. They set the table last night. Ellos pusieron la mesa anoche. Again, we have this irregular stem, and we just add the ending. Verbs that have irregular stems in the preterite that end in a J have the same endings as the verbs above. The only exception is that they drop the I from the ellos, ellas, and ustedes forms. So the verb decir, to say or to tell, the stem is di. And traer, to bring or to carry, tras. So you're going to see when we conjugate these verbs, everything is the same, that iste, o, imos, istais, hieron endings exist, except there's just one small change for the ellos, ellas, and ustedes. So decir, dije, dijiste, dijo, dijimos, dijisteis, and dijeron. It's not dijeron. We're getting rid of that I. Traer, traje, trajiste, trajo, trajimos, trajisteis, and trajeron. No I. So if we take a look back, just give my computer a second. So we saw all of these stems, right? anduv, estuv, pud, pus, kis, sup, tuv, vin, kup. These are endings. Iste, o, imos, istais, and yeron. Decir and tener and traer both have their stem change. However, in the ellos, ellas, and ustedes forms, instead of ieron, I-E-R-O-N, it's just E-R-O-N. So that's an important thing to remember. Just going to skip through these quick. Okay. Here are some other verbs that end in CIR that follow the same pattern as decir. Conducir, which we know means to drive. The stem is conduge. Producir, to produce, produce. And traducir, to translate, traduce. So conducir, if we conjugate it again using those same endings, conduje, condujiste, condujo, condujimos, condujisteis, y condujeron, no I. Produje, produjiste, produjo, produjimos, produjisteis, produjeron. Traduje, tradujiste, tradujo, tradujo, tradujimos, tradujisteis, y tradujeron. So let's conjugate some verbs in the preterite now. Mi hermano no, now decir. So remember, decir went to D-I-J, di. Mi hermano no dijo la verdad. No accent, super regular. La familia Wilkins trajo los legumbres a la fiesta de Día de Acción de Gracias. Again, la familia are subject to singular. That's why it's not trajeron, trajo. La compañía Ford produjo carros en los Estados Unidos. Yo conduje a California el verano pasado. I drove to California last summer. Tú dijiste el cuento a los niños anoche. You told the story to the children last night. So if we look, last summer, last night, they produced completed actions. They brought the vegetables to the Thanksgiving party. You did not tell the truth. These are all completed actions in the past. Ustedes trajeron la comida a mi casa el mes pasado. You brought the food to my house last month. Keyword, last month. We know when it happened. ¿Quién te condujo a escuela esta mañana? Who drove you to school this morning? Completed action. This morning tells you when it happened. Los estudiantes tradujeron las frases al inglés. The students translated the sentences to English. Completed action. Yo traje las pruebas a clase ayer. I brought the quizzes to class yesterday. We know when it happened. Completed action. Yo dije la tarea al fin de clase ayer. I said the homework at the end of class yesterday. So again, we know when this happened. So this is the last piece of information that you guys are going to need to complete your learning of the preterite tense. We spoke about this when we were together in class. This tense has a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of irregulars. There's a lot going on. So I hope that by breaking it down into chunks, it helped you to process a little bit. But please just remember, if you go back into your module for Unit 9, you have every piece of preterite information. So if you need to go back to the regulars, here are your notes completely filled in. Here's the YouTube video for part 1. Here's the YouTube video for part 2. Once this is done, I'm going to post the YouTube video for part 3. So if you need to refresh your memory, watch those videos again. I'll be live on Zoom tomorrow morning. Well, actually, I'm recording it tonight, even though this is for tomorrow on Monday. But I'll be live tomorrow for your class, or Monday for your class, and then Wednesday for your class. Please check the Canvas calendar for the times for each period, as well as the Zoom link and the access code. All right, I hope to see you all soon. Adios.